What?
Better than 4.
All right. So, just for the sake of the video, this is the lesson.
Wheel of Fortune.
Pause if you need it.
We can't
And then press play.
real life, Miss
Okay, let's just
Finn.
pause.
All right.
Just pause.
10. You pause, Ben. We'll wait.
Okay.
No, we should go through your stories again on
No.
I didn't understand the first story.
No. Okay, stop.
Guinea pigs.
Stop. All right. 10 minus 4x equals 9x. How many x's are there?
2.
Are they on the same side?
No.
Do you need some tissue?
No.
No, I was just like.
We got a picker in here. We got a picker.
What?
Mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business.
Now, there are x's on both sides. I'm sorry. Okay, there are 2 x's, and the problem is they're not on the same side. They're on different sides. Okay? Since they're on different sides, we can't just combine them and put them together. We have to get them on the same side. All right? So, do we have to move both of them?
No.
No, you only need to move
Negative
one
9.
of them. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I want you to notice there are 2 x's, but how many whole numbers?
1.
There's only one whole number. So we're going to try and get the x's on the opposite side of the whole number. Which side's the whole number on?
The left.
So we're going to get the x's to the
Right.
So how can I move a minus 4x
Plus 4.
plus 4x? Some of you, you're so used to working with this by dividing, right? That's if you just want to get rid of the 4. We want to move the entire 4x. So you would have to add or subtract. And in this case,
It's that.
we're adding. And what you do to one side,
You do
Yeah,
it
to
to
the
the
other side.
and I'm putting it under its like term, the 9x, negative 9x. So now on the left, I just have 10. And what is negative 9x plus 4x?
7. No, 5x.
Negative
Negative
5x. Okay, again, I'll tell y'all, same thing I told you on your quizzes. Do it in your head if you want to, but then check yourself on your calculator.
Track yourself.
Before you get yourself.
That's right. Say before you Shrek yourself.
I hate when people say that.
All right.
Except yourself.
Is x by itself now?
No, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
it is.
No, it's not.
No,
It's not
it's not by itself, but there is how many now?
1.
Only 1. So now that we have only 1x, we need to get that 1x all by itself. What's
Divided.
keeping it from being by itself?
Negative
Times negative 5.
So we need to.
Divide by negative 5. Thank you all.
It's not a competition.
What?
Everything is
Always
a
a
competition,
competition.
Miss Finn.
And what's 10 divided by negative 5?
-2.
I win again.
That's it.
It seems really easy, but I feel like it's going to get way harder.
Except
Of course.
yourself.
Do you play Fortnite every day?
I try to.
Do you play Fortnite?
I
Practice
haven't
makes
played in like
Like,
forever.
makes perfect. Hey,
Because of homework, so.
Y'all, it's just like math, okay? When you lose in Fortnite,
Oh my goodness.
okay? When you lose in Fortnite, do you give up and walk away and never play again?
throw
Yes,
up.
that's actually what I
No.
do.
That's
what happened to me.
Sometimes, but you- okay.
Slam the controller down, walk
That's-
away.
Okay, but you always come back later, right?
$40 headphones.
Now, hey, I'm talking. You should not be. I don't care what it's about. You should not be. Okay? So, yeah, you might throw it down, get frustrated, but you come back later and you try again, right?
No.
I'm just going to be 04.
Okay, if your answer is no, then I'm not talking to you. So, sometimes you might watch the person who killed you and try and get some pointers, right? Maybe.
What if it's a
Sometimes.
noob and they had a drum gun and they just started spraying everywhere?
What is a noob? If you
Anyway.
get killed by a noob, you are a noob. Sorry.
So,
Bet you anything you get. 'Cause
Ben, hush. Either way, you go back and you try again. You keep trying and you keep getting better, right? It works the same way with math problems. You might get frustrated the first time and you might not get it right. And you might throw your pencil down and walk away. But eventually you got to come back and try again. And you keep trying, and you keep trying, and you keep trying, and you're going to get it perfect eventually. You're going to get that first solo win one day.
Yes!
It
Woo!
was
Motivational speech!
Not if I
Proof.
never play. I just played that because I stopped playing like 2 months
Bush
ago.
can't prove.
All
I
right,
played DO4.
Hey,
Hang on.
have you ever put one of those?
write down
gold
number
Bush on?
1. Hush, Ben. Write down number 1.
Or should I write down number 2?
Did you just say you're already on number 2?
No, she
No, I said I
started
started
writing
writing
down
down
number 2.
Okay. I was like,
Before
ah.
realizing
still
it
don't
wasn't.
Alright, so number 1. What's the issue here?
There's an
They're on
X on each
different
side.
It's an X on both sides. We need to get them to the...
Same
Right
side.
Which side's the whole number on this time?
The right.
Right.
So we need the X's to be on the
Left.
the opposite side of the whole number. So which X am I moving then?
3x.
Oh, and it's a, what kind of 3X?
Negative.
Positive.
So we need to
Now it's a
Dang,
negative.
Mansell.
minus 3X.
Negative.
Bum, bum.
Alright, so what is negative 2X minus 3X?
Negative 5x.
Negative
Ha.
5x.
Negative 5X equals, and now what's on the right?
10.
Plus 10.
Do we have to put the plus?
No.
No. If it had been a minus, would we have to put the minus?
Yeah.
Yes, but we don't have to put the plus.
It's the
So is X by itself yet?
no.
We need to,
Divide by negative 5.
Negative 5.
It's the same.
so X equals
Negative 2.
negative 2.
Again.
Alright?
Alright.
Do we have to write down the 2 now?
Oh, good.
You gotta write down this one.
What?
Uh,
Oh my
Number
god.
2. Number 2 was easier.
Have smaller numbers.
Write this one down, please. Quit talking on the side and write this down. What's the first thing you noticed when you wrote this down?
There's
long.
too many numbers.
What else?
It's like
There's
there-
2 parentheses.
Very-
The parentheses. What you should have noticed at first was parentheses. And what should be the first thing that comes into your mind when you see parentheses?
distributing.
Distributive property.
Get rid of it.
Okay? The first thing that should come to your mind when you see parentheses is distributive property, and that's what we're going to do first, is distribute. We have to distribute on both sides now. Alright, so 3 times 3x is
9x.
9x. 3 times, is that 4 or negative 4?
Negative 4.
So what's 3 times negative 4?
Negative
Negative
12.
Notice my negative just became my
Minus.
I mean
minus. I didn't put minus negative 12, did I?
No.
Just minus 12 equals, now distribute on the other side. Some of you are probably looking like, oh my gosh,
It's
I hate
8 divided by
fractions.
4, right?
It's an easy fraction, because we going last year when we were dilating, remember?
yeah.
Doing those dilations, when it gave you a fraction, you just divided by the denominator, right? Because I told you multiplying by a fraction is the same thing as dividing by its denominator. So 1/4 times 32x is really just 32 divided by 4, which is
8.
8. That's what I said.
8x.
That's what I was going to say.
Then 1/4 times 56. That's
6
really
times
just 56
4.
divided by
4.
4. So you may not know that one off the top of your head, but what is it?
14.
14. Positive or negative?
Positive.
So I have to put
So plus.
plus 14. Now that my parentheses are gone, okay, what's the issue?
Minus
The X
six.
to a different side.
There's an X on both sides.
But there's a whole number on both sides.
Right. Okay, so now we have to talk about a different strategy. See, our strategy on the last one was that we got it away from the whole number. But now there's a whole number on both sides. So what we're going to do now is we're moving the smaller x. Which x is smaller, 8 or 9?
8.
So we're going to subtract, because this is a positive 8, right?
Right.
So we're going to minus 8x from both sides. Did I minus the 8x from the 12?
No.
No, they're not like terms. Okay?
Gonna be 1x.
It will be 1x. Is the 1 necessary?
No.
No.
I put it there anyway.
Okay, put it there anyway if you want to. What else is left on the left?
Negative 12.
And what's on the right now?
Positive 14.
Now, what's the only thing keeping x from being by itself?
Negative
Plus
12.
12. Or, yeah. Negative
Is the 1 keeping x from being by itself?
12.
No, because it really doesn't even have to be there, does it?
No. Right.
Okay, so to get rid of a minus 12, we would.
Add
Plus
12.
12.
X equals 26.
Okay, so when I write it this time, I'm not going to put the 1 next to my x. I'm just going to put x equals 26. Here's why I'm not putting the 1. Okay?
Because there's a 1 next to everything. You know?
There is. Some of you are going to rewrite that 1 down there, and you're going to say, okay, well, x it by itself now.
And then
And then you're going to divide by 1, Don't
you'll
laugh.
do the same thing.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
and x equals 26. That's okay if that's you. That's okay. You're adding an extra step to your life that's not necessary, but you're still going to get the same answer. So if you forget that the 1 doesn't have to be there and you do that, that is completely fine. What's best about this and you being in a habit of doing that is when it's a negative 1, you'll know how to get rid of the negative. Okay? So that's okay if you want to divide by that 1. It's also okay if you realize the 1 doesn't have to be there and you call it done when you get to that last step. Alright?
Alright.
So this problem seemed really long and really hard at the beginning, right?
Uh-huh.
But how did I explain it to you? We said, what's the first thing we see?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, so we think distribute. So I did that one tiny step there. Was that one tiny step super overwhelming?
No.
No,
Can
it
we call
wasn't.
distributing
So then I got
LTAP?
here.
Can we call it LTAP now?
No.
Okay. So once I got to this step, we said, okay, now what's the issue?
They're not.
There's an X
the
on
X's.
both sides, right? We fixed that, right? So if you look at it as one big super long problem, you're going to be intimidated and you're not going to even know how to start it. If you look at what's in the problem as opposed to just the problem, okay, you're going to help yourself a lot more, all right? Look at the tiny things, not the big thing, all right? So now, write down number 2. I'm going to let y'all start this one
I
by
have the
yourself.
Tarzan song stuck in my head for some reason.
The Tarzan song.
Can you show?
Y'all, work this one quietly, but to yourselves. The only talking I should hear is maybe you talking to the person next to you
Me, Tatum.
about the problem.
No.
Didn't we already do this problem?
Yeah.
Number 1, we already did that.
We're doing
We
number
did,
2.
you're doing number 2 right now.
Oh my
Why
god.
did that? Oh jeez, I think I messed up.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start working it so you follow along with what the work you have is. First thing I see here is a what?
Parentheses.
So I think
Distribute.
distribute. So what's 1/2 times 6h?
3.
It's literally saying take half of
6.
6, right? So 3h. What's 1/2 times -4?
Negative 2.
It's literally saying take half of -4.
Negative 4.
So minus 2. -2 becomes -2. Anything wrong with the right side?
No.
There's an 8. Right.
Well, not yet.
Okay.
Based off our first little step. Okay. Now I've got that was step 1. So now I'm at step 2. What's wrong with it now?
There's 2
There's
H's.
2 H's.
Are they on the same side?
No.
No, they're on different sides. Is there a whole number on both sides?
Yes.
Yes, so what's our strategy?
Take the smallest
Move
variable.
the smaller h. Which one's smaller, 3 or -5?
3. Negative 5.
Oh.
Okay?
I didn't see the negative. I didn't put the wrong.
So make sure that you're careful on this. The reason I moved the smaller one is so that I'm only ever working with positives. Sometimes you'll move a smaller one and it'll still be negative,
That's why everything's
but chances are it won't be. If I move the 3, I'm going to end up with more negatives. And the more negatives we have, the more it messes with our head and the more likely we're to get it wrong. But y'all are good with positives, so let's try and make everything positive. So to get rid of a minus 5h, I plus 5h. Now you'll get the same answer either way. I'm just telling you which way is easier. 3h plus 5h is
8h.
8h minus 2 equals 1.
Oh.
Now how many h's are there?
1.
So we got to get everything
By
away from the
away.
h.
Oh, never mind.
You good?
Yeah.
Wait,
All
how
right.
did you get the plus?
To get rid of a minus 5h, you plus 5h.
dumb.
That's what I said.
Alright. Now what I get rid of first, the 8 or the negative 2?
Negative 2.
So I would,
Plus 2.
so 8h equals,
3.
is h by itself yet?
Yeah.
We still need to,
Divide by 8.
It's like 2.66666.
nope, you typed in 8 divided by 3.
Is it point?
This says 3 divided by 8. What is it?
0.175?
Sounds about right.
That's what.
So
Jeez.
0.375, if we round to the nearest tenth, that would be 0.4.
4.
Or you could leave it as the fraction 3 over
8.
So that's obviously a fraction that does not reduce, right?
Right.
Either one.
So how do you tell which one you're supposed to like? Oh, never mind. I know. Never mind.
Rounded.
Yeah, because it was 0.
They're both the same.
375.
So it really doesn't matter. And I'll try and, if I want a decimal, I'll try and tell you decimal on your homework or classwork. If I want a fraction, I'll try and tell you fraction if I want it or not. Otherwise, I think it'll mostly be a decimal though. If I don't tell you, put the decimal in.
Oh no, we rounded. That's right. Never mind.
Alright. Let's do number 3. What number are we doing now?
3.
3.
8.
Yes, I know now.
Everyone's working number 3, Ben.
I already am working. Oh, I'm doing.
Wait. So, can you still do just divided by 4 if there's a 3 over the 4?
No, now you have to
Actually.
multiply by 3, then divide by 4. You multiply by the top and then divide
Can we
by
just
the bottom.
multiply the fraction?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Because you're lazy.
Yep.
But look, what's negative 3 times 8?
Negative 27.
And what's negative 24 divided by 4?
Oh.
Negative 6.
Or, fraction, cross reduce. Negative 3 times 2.
I got negative 6.
Either
Oh,
way, you're going to get
right.
right.
Okay, I thought it was wrong. Oh, we still got the end.
Alright, I hear a lot of talking, which means y'all must be done with this problem.
No.
Then stop talking.
Wait, Miss Finn.
Mhm.
So on the 5-9, do we like, I forgot for some reason. Do we minus the 5 or divide that 5? We divide that 5.
Hang on, let me get there first, because I don't even know what you're talking about. Alright,
5. I don't have a 5 in here.
Listen,
I just have 3.
okay. So some of you may have gotten confused when you saw the negative 3/4.
Yes.
What you're going to do here is, if it really confuses you, you have a calculator and you type negative 3 over 4 times 8. And it tells you negative 6. Now, if you don't want to go through the hassle of typing in the calculator every time, learn this trick. You can make all whole numbers into fractions by putting them over what? 1. Okay? So we're saying negative 3/4 times 8n over 1, right? Y'all remember cross reducing when we multiply?
Mm-hmm.
The 4 and the 8 will cross reduce, won't they?
Mm-hmm.
The 4 will cross out and the 8 would become a
2.
And then what's negative 3 times 2?
Negative 6.
-6, and don't forget the
One. I mean,
N.
N. not
Because is the
one.
one really necessary on the
No.
bottom? No. That's just there to help you visualize a fraction, right?
Right.
And then we have -3/4 times 12. The 4's not really gone, right? Still there. This 12 is really 12 over
What?
1. The 4 and the 12, don't they cross reduce?
Mm-hmm.
And the 12 would become a
3.
3. -3 times 3 is,
-9.
okay, that's the easy way to do it. Or type in your calculator and it'll also give you the same answer. Okay? Equals 3 times n is
3 N.
3 times -3,
3. -9.
-9. Alright. What's the issue now?
They're on
There's
different
two in
sides.
it.
Variables.
They're on different sides. Are there whole numbers on both sides?
Yes.
So I'm going to move which n?
Say
-6
-6
and-
The smaller one, which is
Negative
-6.
I'm proud of myself. for
How do I
figuring
get rid
that
of a
out.
-6n, Ben?
Plus.
Plus it. Oh, sorry.
Plus 6n.
Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
Okay. You following so far, Ben? You good? Alright. So, he was. Oh. So I've got -9 equals, what's 3n plus 6n?
9
9.
ends a change.
-9.
Now, it's an easy problem, right? What do we get rid of first?
Plus 9. -9.
Or minus 9 plus it.
Yeah.
Know what you have to do to one side.
0.
What's -9 plus 9?
0.
Don't even gotta put the 9 because it's gonna be 0.
Exactly. Anytime you, if you're only left with n, like there's no whole number over here, and it equals 0, the only thing your answer can be is
0.
0, because 9 times what is 0? 0, right? But if that messes with your head, how do we get rid of a times 9?
Divided by 9.
Divide by 9.
It's still 0.
0 divided by
Oh.
9 is 0. Hey, calm down. Just because we finished problem doesn't mean you can just start talking and carrying on and have social hour.
It wouldn't be an hour.
Because
We
we're
should
not
have a
done.
social period
We
We
really
could
should.
just, like-
Kilo Middle used to have that.
where you can just
It's called
talk.
Alright.
time.
What time do we start the next?
I want you to write down A.
I'm just gonna put the
Yeah.
page.
Write down A. We have to do these two problems. Okay, we're writing down A.
I feel like there's gonna be something different about this.
Really.
Alright, so on A, what's the first thing I see that I want to fix?
Parentheses.
How do I get rid of a parentheses?
Distribute.
So 3 times 5x is,
15x.
3 times 2 is
6.
plus 6 or minus 6?
Plus 6.
But there's not a whole number on both sides.
Equals, what's the other side?
15x.
Now, there's not a whole number on both sides this time, is there? So what's our strategy when there's not one?
The one with the whole number.
Yeah, the whole number's on the left, so we want our x's to be on the
Right.
right. So I'm going to move
That 15x?
this 15x. So how do I get rid of this 15x?
Minus 15x.
This is, I get this problem. I get it.
I
understand now.
So these cancel because that's the point of minusing the 15x. So I'm left with 6. What's 15x minus 15x?
0x, so it's like a 1x, but then it's just x, so then it's just 6x.
Nope.
That's what I thought.
15x or 15x minus 15x is
0x.
0x. But what's 0 times x?
0.
It's
just 6.
Wait, what?
Okay? You
What?
can't, y'all, if you just put an x there, that means there's a what in front?
A 1.
But we need a
0.
0 times x is 0, not 0x. The x is gone.
But there's
What in the world are we going to do now? There's no x.
no
Okay.
That contradicts itself.
It kind of does, yes.
Because there's
Now,
no
the x disappeared. The x is gone.
X went bye-bye.
When this happens, you now have to look at what's left. 6 equals 0. Does 6 equal 0?
No.
That is a false
6 equals
statement.
6.
So
Okay.
it's not a right problem.
So the answer is no
No.
solution.
Oh yeah, we had this last week.
I
Kind of.
remember that.
Yeah.
All right, so no solution. That means you will never be able to find a number for x that will make this work. Y'all remember last week when I showed y'all once we got our answer for x, we could plug in,
Mhm.
and if it equaled the same thing on both sides, we had it right?
Uh-huh.
There's no number you can put for x that'll make them be equal on both sides. Not even 0. Not even 6. Not 1,000,000. Not 20. Not -5.
I'm just
No
act like I know what you're
number will work for this. Nothing. There is literally no solution.
saying. I didn't get that,
I literally
but
can't.
it's okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Last week, do you remember when we plugged the answer back in to see if it equaled on both sides? That's how we checked ourselves.
Yeah.
I could take a number, any number, and it's not going to work for this one. I'll never be able to find a number to plug in for x that gives it a true statement.
Okay.
Now let's work B.
Yay.
Pardon the interruption. Kayla Bryson, could you please come to the high school office for checkout? Kayla Bryson to the high school office.
Early.
You know,
Why do you?
You're writing down B, and that's it.
did we work it? Yeah.
You can start on it if you want to.
Do we have homework tonight?
Yes.
Do we have homework- did we
Wait,
have
it's not due
homework
tonight,
last
though.
night?
It's not due till it's not due till Tuesday. All right. What am I to do first?
Distribute.
Anytime you learn a new lesson, Ben, you will have homework.
Just that night.
Yes.
Why does everybody laugh at everything I say?
-2 times. Hey, stop. -2 times 4y is what?
Negative
Negative.
8y.
See.
-2 times 1 is,
Negative 2.
What they're
and the other side's fine. Hang on. Not yet. So
Oh, is this gonna be 0?
there's a y on both sides, right?
Yeah.
And there's also a whole number on both sides. So we want to move the smaller y, but they're the same. They're both -8. Okay? So what we discovered over here was when they're
Pardon the
both.
interruption. I need the following students to the junior high office, please. Amelia Berg, Owen Quinn, Shelby Kraft, and Caroline Wheeler. Please report to the junior high
Are you
office.
done
Again, Amelia Berg,
Why are you saying
Owen
it again?
Quinn, Shelby Kraft, and Caroline Wheeler all come to the junior high office, please.
Alright,
One
Now.
time.
Stop.
Follow the building.
Anytime you see that your y's are the same on both sides, you don't always have to go through the process of the +8y plus 8y. They're the exact same on both sides. They're gonna cancel out, right? Just mark those two out. And we're left with -2 equals -2. True or false?
True.
That is true.
Oh.
So this time,
It's a
my
true
answer
statement
is
solution.
all
Yes. Oh.
real solutions.
What?
You laugh, but there is a such thing as an imaginary solution.
Well. Oh,
Yes.
I have an imaginary solution. His name
Okay,
is
what this means is, for all real solutions, if no solutions means there is no number that will work for x, all real solutions means that every number that exists will work for x. You could plug 1 in and you'll get a true statement. You could plug 100 in and you'll get a true statement.
1,000.
You can plug 1,000 in.
Oh.
You
Or
can
a
plug
million.
12,523.
Or a trillion.
I guess that.
Every single number that exists in this
What about
world
zero?
But just the 20
will 0 is a number, so yes.
Miss Finn.
4 times 0 is
-8.
4 times 0 is
0.
0.
0 plus 1 is
One.
1 times -2 is
Negative
Two.
2.
because you have to do parentheses first.
But why did we go back to -2? I thought we replaced it with 0.
No,
You replace
the
the
y
y
was
with
0.
0.
Oh, okay, cool.
So -2 equals -8 times 0 is
0.
0 minus 2 is
0. I mean,
so -2 equals -2. If I plugged in 100, it would work.
Yes.
If I plugged in 15 million, it would
I
work.
think you should right now. Go for it. Now, go.
Day
Would that be hard to
number
do?
We only have
8,000.
3
What, a
minutes.
million?
But I do have a question to ask you. Okay. Give me the definition
That's not
of
a-
time. Go.
What?
Very
Time, something that I don't have enough of.
Work number 4.
I've tried to describe it so many times.
Y'all, I still have 2 minutes. Work number 4.
Oh my goodness.
You wasted my first 15,
No,
so
you.
you convinced me to waste it.
invade.
You see, that's like
You
our powers.
tricked
We can
me into
stall you.
wasting it.
It wasn't a trick, it was a
How could we?
question.
I'm smart enough to do that.
I don't even can when you're talking.
Do number
about
4.
fire.
that come up?
Do number 4.
I don't even think anything.
Mansell.
I wanted to know because I thought it died, but it's not.
It's probably
Fortnite died?
Hush.
I hope.
Ben. You don't hear the whole conversation. Don't butt in.
Wanna
That's just something
put
y'all
that
should
on
live
my
by in general.
gravestone.
Oh, no.
What is this?